Never give up. Sounds heroic until you realize most of human progress comes from people giving up. We gave up on dial-up internet, we gave up on Blockbuster, and honestly, we should probably give up on group projects where one guy does everything. The idea is that persistence always pays off. But sometimes, persistence just means spending 3 years trying to fix a printer that clearly has a personal vendetta against you, or endlessly refreshing a package tracking page at 2 a.m. hoping the courier has magically teleported to your door. At some point, never giving up stops being motivation and starts being tech support. And sure, not quitting can be admirable, but it can also be delusional. If you've applied to the same job 47 times and your only callback was an automated unsubscribe, maybe the universe isn't testing your resilience. Maybe it's just saying, please stop. The bottom line, successful people don't blindly never give up. They quit the wrong things quickly, double down on the right things, and know the difference. Because never giving up doesn't make you a hero. It just makes you the guy still trying to punch a tree in Minecraft with your bare hands, insisting it'll work eventually. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, which is great advice unless you've ever had food poisoning. In that case, what doesn't kill you just makes you afraid of gas station sushi for the rest of your life. The idea sounds noble, adversity builds character, but in practice, most adversity just builds anxiety. You fail a class, you don't suddenly become Einstein, you just get really good at explaining to your parents why the professor was biased. You get rejected on a date, you don't become more confident, you just end up posting vague memes on a late-night relationship forum. And sure, some struggles do make you tougher, but others just leave you with a limp, a credit card bill, and a story that starts with, "So I thought it would be a good idea to." At some point, what doesn't kill you stops sounding like wisdom and starts sounding like patch notes for a badly coded video game. The side effect nobody mentions, what doesn't kill you doesn't always make you stronger. Sometimes it just makes you tired, broke, and Googling, "Why am I like this?" on Urban Dictionary. Live every day as if it were your last. Sounds inspiring until you realize if today were actually your last, you probably wouldn't be answering emails or waiting for Windows updates. You'd be eating cake for breakfast and posting a confession thread online just to watch the chaos unfold. The problem is, if you actually live like that, within a week you'll be out of money, out of friends, and possibly out of freedom. Imagine explaining to your boss, "Sorry I didn't finish the report, but I thought I was supposed to spend the afternoon base jumping off IKEA." Great philosophy, terrible quarterly results. And the advice gets even weirder when you apply it literally. Should you call your ex to say everything you never said? Should you max out your credit card on jet skis? Or just sit dramatically by a window like you're in a low-budget music video? At some point, live like it's your last day just becomes make tomorrow significantly worse. In reality, successful people don't live every day like it's their last. They live like there's a pretty good chance tomorrow still exists and rent is due on the 1st. Because if you actually lived like it was your last day, you wouldn't be enlightened, you'd just be broke, sunburned, and explaining to your landlord why your final wish involved a jet ski in the bathtub. Fake it till you make it, otherwise known as the official motto of people whose resume just says proficient in Microsoft Word written in Comic Sans. The idea sounds good, act confident until you actually are, but there's a fine line between confidence and corporate cosplay. Sure, faking it can get you through a job interview. You nod, you smile, you say things like, "I'm passionate about synergy." Then day one arrives and your boss says, "Great, now build that app you mentioned." Suddenly you're on Stack Overflow at 3 a.m. hoping there's a copy-paste answer titled, "Entire app, please." And somehow, fake it turned into a full-time lifestyle. Fake your portfolio, fake your expertise, fake your net worth online. At this point, it's less about confidence and more about running your own personal patch update, which honestly is what LinkedIn is for anyway. Does it work? Sometimes, until it doesn't. Ask Theranos. Or better yet, ask anyone who's ever claimed fluent in Spanish on their CV and then been asked to order tacos. Spoiler alert, Duolingo's angry owl does not count as a translator. Hard work always pays off. Sure, if you define pays off as burnout and the occasional email from your boss saying, "Great hustle," before promoting someone else. The idea is that if you grind long enough, success is guaranteed. But sometimes you grind and success just doesn't log in. Take the person who's been at the same job for years, working nights and weekends, doing the work of 2 people, while their coworker who shows up at 10 and leaves at 4 gets promoted first. Or the artist grinding for a decade with 47 followers, 3 of whom are bots. Hard work? Absolutely. Paying off? Debatable. And here's the catch. Hard work doesn't care about fairness. You can outwork everyone in a dying industry and still lose to someone who picked a better field and coasted. Or spend 10,000 hours perfecting your craft, the famous 10,000-hour rule, only to discover the world needed your thing yesterday. Meanwhile, someone who put in 2,000 hours on something trendy is already making bank and bragging about it on the startup forum. The fine print is, successful people don't just work hard. They work hard on the right thing, at the right time, with the right people. Because hard work isn't a golden ticket, it's just the entry fee. The rest is luck, timing, and knowing when to switch servers. Just be yourself. Great advice, unless yourself is the version currently Googling how to small talk in the bathroom 5 minutes before a party. The real question is, which self are we talking about? The one eating cereal in sweatpants at 2 a.m. or the one you invented for job interviews who suddenly thrives in fast-paced environments? Here's the catch. Being yourself only works if your default settings are already socially acceptable. Show up to a first date as the real you, unwashed hair, explaining your favorite internet drama, oversharing about your Dota obsession, and congrats, you've just unlocked the table for one ending. When people say, just be yourself, what they really mean is, be the version of yourself that doesn't scare people, which isn't authenticity, it's an update log. And authenticity itself has basically become a performance. Everyone's out here being their real self online, carefully deleting every downvoted comment and pretending they've always been right. Meanwhile, your LinkedIn says, passionate go-getter, but the actual you is just hitting snooze 4 times and considering pants optional on Zoom calls. So maybe the advice should be, just be a slightly upgraded version of yourself that still pays rent. Because the unfiltered version, that's the one you delete before hitting send. And honestly, that's probably your best decision all week. Always be positive. Sure, because nothing solves problems like smiling through a car accident while your bumper rolls down the street. The idea sounds sweet, but at some point, good vibes only stops being advice and starts sounding like one of those inspirational posters you scroll past on Instagram. Here's the truth. Being positive all the time is exhausting. Your rent is overdue, your plant just died, and your boss scheduled a quick meeting at 4:59 p.m. But hey, manifest abundance, right? Meanwhile, your brain just wants 5 minutes to sulk without someone shoving a quote from their aunt's Facebook page in your face. And toxic positivity doesn't even help in conversations. Lost your job? Everything happens for a reason. Great. I'll tell that to my landlord. Feeling depressed? Just think happy thoughts. Perfect. I'll invoice you for therapy. Reality check? Successful people aren't endlessly cheerful. They're realists. They admit when things are bad, deal with it, and move forward. Pretending problems don't exist doesn't make you an optimist. It makes you the human equivalent of a smiley face sticker slapped over a smoke alarm. That's all I've got for you. Like, subscribe, and drop your best advice in the comments.